Alright guys, it is time to do the Monday results, and today we actually have like a crazy amount of results, and I say that every week, but you know, we had BRO, but guess what? In Japan, they also had results too. They had quite a lot of results. There's a lot of hype going to set forward. There's a lot of tournaments starting up, so we're going to be looking into that. There are some results that we just don't have at the moment, so that's kind of unfortunate. We're going to play around it, right? Like champions. Alright, so let's start off with the Bushiroad Rumble Online. This is the last one for Standard. This is the AO region. We can see the winner was Muzrax, and yeah, good job. Good job, Muzrax. Let's look at the deck list that came up today. This is something, right? Something, top 8, I think. The top 8 was just like Nut, Fried Sticks, Keru, Kevin Cho, Muzrak, Something, Manlong, and Jake. So Something played a Bruce deck. This is running the defensive order as well. So just pretty... It's the defensive variant, or the order defensive variant. Then we've got the unique deck in this list. This is Keru's list, this Bavsargra list. Actually quite interesting on how he played this list more than the list itself. Again, we talked about how bulky Bavsargra can be, and the way that he kind of played this deck against like the Bruces out there, right? Because there were actually just heaps of Bruces. He just kind of sat around, defended a lot, poked a bit, played very conservatively, and eventually, most of the time, the Bruces just kind of decked out. And I mean, the only loss was in like top 4, I think, or he probably lost somewhere else, but I think, yeah, he lost in top 4 to Bruce, just kind of popping off, just getting just enough. I think just a bit of a misplay there as well, and that kind of ended his kind of tournament run. But yeah, this is actually very, very... I like the way he played this deck more than the deck itself. And I think if you guys really want to play Bavsargra right now, rather than wait for later, this is a good time to go. You just see like Urja even being played. It's just, you know, why you play? You can't use the multi, but it has a lot of shield. It has a lot of shield. So, yeah, pretty interesting. I like this list. I like this list. Moving on. We have just another Bruce. This was Kevin Cho's Bruce list. Very optimized. Another just 20k shield Bruce deck. So pretty cool. And then here we have Muzrak's winning list. He also played the 20k shield, but he had a bit more high rarity cards, I guess. But yeah, he also played this 20k shield Bruce that seems to be very, very popular, especially in the AO region. We've just been seeing that. Then we had Fried Steak with the only Loro deck out there, and he played... I like this list. He played the correct grade 2, I think. I know some people like the Boost. I like the grade 2. I like the grade 2 more, so good job, Mr. Steaks. And then Manlong playing the Eden build, you know, running a bit of Edens in the list. I like this one too, you know, like the 20k shield is cool, but you know, being able to control with Eden at grade 2 and maybe like later just like a nice beta is pretty decent. Especially since we saw a lot of these Bruce lists just run pretty aggressive. So guess what's a good aggressive card to play down early? And that's Eden, right? It's Eden, so pretty nice. We had Jake. Jake playing just standard Bruce pretty much with no Edens. Just going straight up for the 8 grade 2s with Dobas and things like that, so that's cool. And then next we have his Nut. Now Nut played a pretty interesting list. He had like the Edens, but he also had like 1 Regina and 1 Queen Lu, so he's kind of like doing a bit of everything, and he managed to sneak in like 1 Doba. Feels a bit greedy, and only 3 Marjorie as well. Even just running like 1 Tactics and 1 like 20k order. So I don't know, it's got a bit of everything, but I guess like you can randomly kill your opponent if they don't expect it. Cause, well, technically it's an open deck list, but they have to account for a lot of things, right? They go, okay, maybe he's going to do his normal turn, so I better save my nulls, but bam, Quinn Lu comes out, and that turn it's kind of weird, you know? So, Nut overall came second, right? Came second in the whole thing, so congratulations. Moving on to EU. EU has, like, we saw a lot of Bruces in the last, if you counted, there were pretty much 6 Bruces, 1 Loro, and 1 whatchamacallit, Bavsargra, which ruined my predictions. Quite unfortunate, right? But yeah, EU, a bit different. Actually, a bit different. This was won by Kent from Singapore, and able to beat William in the top 8 was Kent, Marcus, George, David A. This is Weerab, by the way. Nuno and Kelvin. So this is the Nuno Standard World Championship way back when Standard was Standard. Now it's a V Premium. But yeah, this game they showed on stream was really, really good. And then we had William and yeah, Aaron. So let's look at the deck list. This one's much more creative. First we have is Kent's winning list here, playing just straight up Gravidia, pure Gravidia with the 16 order. I like Gravidia lists. They're small, very compact, very easy to read. And yeah, he did pretty well. Yeah, he won first, so good job, Kent. I think it's Kenticor on Twitter. I swear I saw that name before. I'm like, wow. When they finally said his Twitter, I'm like, oh, okay, yes. That's him. We see his face. All right, congratulations, mate. And then next we have is William. This is just another Bruce deck with Edens, also running Marianne's. So pretty cool, pretty cool. We haven't really seen Marianne much in a while, but you know, just running one tech, I guess it's pretty nice. Triple drive, right? Cool. All right, next we have is Nuno's list. This is Gravidia World. He's running one World, but just kind of more focused on the Gravidia side of the thing compared to the lists we kind of saw from Japan, which was focused like more on the rush. I guess this deck can kind of still do the rush with the Barringer. You just don't really hit the power lines as much, I want to say, because you do get one column that is 15k, but you have to Soul Blast 3 for it. So yeah, I think this is kind of just a more slow pace. Like get more cards. You have like much more meteors it's gonna go through, and then you still can kind of make like a pseudo rush, I guess, with just like the world card coming in. So okay, it's pretty interesting. Then we had the George's Loro list, and this list was just a lot of high rarity cards. It was running the boosters, like a lot of boosters, not running the grade 2 instead. So yeah, pretty cool. And then next is Weerab running another Loro list as well. He's pretty much just running the very standard Loro list as well with just the grade 2s. That's pretty nice. And then Kelvin was running pretty much our WCC kind of Media World list, Gravidia World. With the two worlds, right? The two worlds kind of comes in handy later on, and this is very similar to the list that came out of Japan as well. I know some of these were changed a bit more. I think Kelvin added the Barringer in just for the extra kind of draw, but apart from that, you know, still got the Destajades and all that. It's kind of cool. Just able to rush early and make columns, which is kind of the bigger difference between these lists versus the just pure Gravidia lists. So yeah. I like this. I really like this deck. I really like this deck. I wish I could have played it, but I did let my teammates play it. So, gotta be a team player, right? Gotta be a team player. All right. And then next we have is Aaron with another Bruce list, which is all right. Good job. Good job. And then lastly we have Marcus with the solo Barrow Magnus list, making it to top 8 in EU. Just running a few of the interesting cards. We have the Jabina, right? Jabina, so got some extra garbage through there, and just the Crimson Expellers for like more aggression, right? So that's pretty nice. Then moving on to the US, the NA region, this was actually a top 16, pretty crazy. Luke won the whole thing with Barrow Magnus. He beat Bruce in the finals. Unfortunately for NA, we don't have the deck lists, just because they didn't release it. So and that's kind of unfortunate. But I kind of do know some of these lists. Derek was playing Media World as well. Zistro was playing Lornoral. And then Maxime was playing what you call it, Media World as well. He made a deck list already, deck profile, so you can go check that out. Tyler, right? He was playing Lornoral, and then Eraser was also playing Barrow Magnus. Sujuma was playing Barrow Magnus as well. We see some familiar names here, of course, like Nuno here. He's got that Gravidia list that he's just kind of rocking up. So overall, pretty cool. I think Ed was playing Bruce. Because we discussed that. So yeah, pretty nice. I think the list will come out a bit later, so we can take a look at it then. Some of these lists are posted on Twitter, which we'll see on Thursday, right? Because we're going to do VG top decks and do a BRO special, so kind of look at those lists there too, right? But instead of the list, we have a swanky pie chart thanks to Fuzzy Paradox. Go check them out on Twitter, right? At Fuzzy Paradox. And yeah, just pie charts are great. You know, I wish I could make pie charts. Seems kind of hard, right? But yeah, this is the top 16. So overall, there were 5 Lornals, 4 Bruce, 4 Gravidia, and 3 Barrow Magnus. So yeah, you can just see that pie chart there. And then we can he also made like a breakdown for everything as well. So just for all regions. So overall, there were 12 Bruce decks. 6 of them came from AO, just keep in mind. 8 Lornoral, 7 Gravidia, 4 Barrow Magnus, and 1 Bavsargra. So if we just kind of not talk about the Bavsargra for a moment here, in terms, like, compared to like the big decks, right? Gravidia and Barrow Magnus really seem to outperform, right? Definitely the top 2 decks that were brought into the tournament based on data was Bruce in every single region, then followed by Lornoral, and I think then it would be like a bunch of other stuff than Gravidia, right? So I think Gravidia definitely converted quite well, but if you kind of think about just the people who are playing Gravidia, there were definitely like known good players, I guess. Like if you count like, you know, Derek, like there's just a bunch of WCC players playing Gravidia Media World, and then, you know, you had like Nuno playing Media World. So you could say it's a bit inflated, but overall, like Gravidia overall, like kind of outperformed itself, I guess. Just converted very, very nicely, right? But Barrow Magnus as well. So only Toby brought Barrow Magnus to the tournament, but he didn't really top any of the regions, which is unfortunate. But you know, looking just there was like 4 Barrow Magnus in NA, which was quite impressive, right? Quite impressive. Well, not 4, was it 3? Because like only 1 topped in EU, I think. So yeah, I guess it was like 3 in NA, right? 3 in NA. We have it here. So yeah, 3. So yeah. So overall, like I feel like Barrow Magnus also converted quite well, which is quite interesting. This format is kind of very different to the Japan format. The Japan format was basically just like, you know, Laronarol and then Bruce. And then at the end of it, we saw some Meteor Worlds. But then, you know, they also had like things like Monster Strike, I guess, which was actually quite strong. But then we hardly saw the Barrow Magnus even at like a lower level, like non-team tournaments. We didn't really see Barrow Magnus until like set 4. So it's like actually quite interesting how the global meta has kind of developed. Right, so that's pretty cool. Moving on though, we have some Japan tournaments because, hey, right, Japan has their tournaments as well. So it's kind of dragging in. We got the 193 VGCS. This is for standard trios. So the first place, we have Pure Light coming in first, which is great, right? Pure Light with just the 1 Seraph Snow. Then there was also the Magnolia, right? Magnolia which is running interesting ride line. You know, this is an interesting deck. It's going not the Aquaforce, not the Maelstrom, but the Flagberg ride line into 4 Magnolias and then 4 Super Magnolia, right? So yeah, this is kind of interesting. This is a weird tech. I thought, like, you know, I think we saw a lot of Magnolia decks already, and it feels like they've all kind of been figured out, but surprise, surprise, here's another build, right? And then lastly was Dragon Empire. We got the Nirvana deck here, you know, 4 Expectable, just the overdress order, kind of the overdress deck. So pretty cool. Second place in that tournament was what is this? Bastion. So finally we see some Bastion in the tops. Just straight up running maxed out Bastions, a bunch of like lag reels, yeah, the 20k shield, Dark Strain Reflux, yeah, basically all the good stuff in the deck. Then we got Alpaca, no, that was Alpaca. Then we got Hoseto with just Pure Light again, right? So cool. And then third we got is another Magnolia. So, you know, this one's running the Zorga ride line. So we're seeing a lot of differences in the ride line setup as well, which is pretty interesting. And then third place, we have Gravidia. So this is set 4 Gravidia, I guess. It's running straight up like pure Gravidia, no strange worlds kind of thing. But you know, set 4 Gravidia is actually really, really good. Really, really good. You can probably go pure and just it'll melt people, right? We finally see a Bruce coming into play. This is grade 4 Bruce, unrivaled Bruce. The Brainwash Sweller and things like that. So pretty cool. Even 2 Quang Lu, so pretty crazy. And then lastly, see a Barrow Magnus. So we see a lot of Barrow Magnus really taking it home in set 4. And then we finally see one here. It's got the Swirler and the new grade 2 that just kind of makes the whole deck really work. And 10k draw triggers, 10k draw triggers. And then lastly, for the top 4, we have a Pure Light. A Pure Light with defensive capabilities. This 1 defensive order, which I really like. But yeah, second is a Magnolia. So this one is just pretty straightforward Magnolia. I think it's pure Magnolia, so pretty cool. And then lastly, we've got a Bavsargra. So nice. Bavsargra, just going face. I like it. We're seeing Bavsargra with the new support. So cool. Next we have the Banana VGCS. I love these names. So Banana VGCS, I think it was also a team tournament. This one was first place was by Bruce, unrivaled Bruce. Second was Magnolia. All right, Magnolia. And then third, well, not third place, but you know, third player on the team was running Bastion. So this is running Order Bastion as well, a Boost Order Bastion. So yeah, a pretty interesting setup. We don't see, is it no Pure Light? Pure Light? Crazy. All right, second place we had is a Magnolia list here. Yeah, Magnolia list. And then second player on the team played Barrow Magnus. And the third player on the team played Prisons, like Seraph Snow. Alright, so still seeing quite a lot of variety in, like, at least like what is considered to be top 3. I don't even see any Nirvanas, which is pretty insane. So yeah, then in the third place we had is Prison, right? Prison, with Pure Lights. Here's like finally we see a Nirvana playing the overdressed Nirvana. This is spelling out fire, I think. Fire. This kanji. And then lastly we have is a Gravidia deck. Alright, Gravidia. Yeah, it's so good. I love seeing Gravidia. You know, I love seeing Gravidia. It feels like the format is still very, very wide open. And then in 4th place, we've got the Bastion, the Order Bastion list. Then we have the Magnolia list here. All right, Magnolia. And then lastly, we have Bruce. So Unrivaled Bruce. So, I don't know. Like, in the first week, we saw, like, Barrow Magnus being very, very strong. And then, you know, we saw, you know, Pure Light, of course, but Magnolia, Nirvana, things like that. But we're still seeing, like, Gravidia. So I'm really liking this set 4 format. It's just, it still seems to be quite wide open. And then I think this is going to be the last tournament here. We have the Sparking CS, right? Sparking CS. Here, I think this is a single tournament. So first place we have is actually just Bastion, right? Bastion. With 3 of the new cards, but just running the Order. So it feels like the Order Bastion lists are way more popular now. Just, you know, it seems to be, I think we've just been seeing that all day, right? And they've kind of, looks like they subbed out the fronts for the 10k draws, which is cool. Then second place was another Bastion. So this was one of my, this had 2 top Bastions. And now this one is also running the Order build too, which is pretty interesting. And then third place we have is Magnolia. All right, Magnolia. Is he running Zorga? Zorga? No, he's not running the Zorga list. He's just running straight up pure Magnolia, which is sort of two spiritual condensations just to target things from the bin, which is cool. And in 4th place, we got another overdress focused Maha Nirvana. Pretty insane, right? Pretty insane. Looks like finally figuring out the best list out there now. And then finally, there was a VMC result. So this was the I think it's the Fukuyama VMC. And this was won by a Barrow Magnus deck, right? Barrow Magnus. Again, just very... I think Barrow Magnus is pretty much just figured out right now. Interesting. Yeah, he's got running like 6 draws as well. Pretty crazy. And then second place was also a Barrow Magnus list. So yeah, again, very similar list too. Deck is pretty good. Pretty good. It's already good now. If we want to compare it to the English results, English is doing fine. And then in set 4, it just gets like 2 cards that just boom. Really, like, even stronger. So, pretty crazy. And then, lastly, we have is the 3rd place was just a Nirvana list here. So, just the overdressed Nirvana again. So, I think, like, that is all the lists so far. There was some other tournaments. There was the Raigeki VGCS, which is the premium tournament. I really wanted to see that. But all the deck lists are featured in JP Decklog, and JP Decklog is broken. I've been waiting for an hour for it to, like, maybe fix itself, but apparently it's been down all day. So we'll probably have to wait for another time for that to work. But yeah, that is kind of... I think we have enough results. There were so many results, and there's still more to come. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of set 4 of BRO. Let me know all the good times, the bad times, everything. And yeah, we'll be seeing you in a lot of other videos too. We still have another video talking about Standard, you know, the good old wrap-up videos talking about Standard. And that one is actually quite interesting. You might want to check it out. It'll be up probably like sometime tomorrow. And yeah, there is a lot of, like, you'd be surprised at what we talk about for Standard. And I promise you, it's not just over triggers. Although there probably will be a couple of 1 or 2 minutes. I think it's less than 1 minute talking about over triggers actually. But yeah, no, just go check it out. I think you'll learn a couple of things. And I want to hear your opinion. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. All right, bye.